I want to talk about, Father, forgive me. And I'm going to talk about success and forgiveness. I'm going to tell you a story of forgiveness and why and how this person could forgive. I'm going to talk about the importance of forgiveness of yourself and of others, and what this forgiveness has to do with success. His enemies hung him on a cross. They nailed his hands to the side beam. They nailed his feet to the lower one. They gashed his side with a sword. They put a crown of thorns on his head and smashed it down so the thorns went into his head and caused him pain and suffering. And when he said he was thirsty, they gave him vinegar to drink. And he looked down at all the people who were mocking him, all of his friends who had deserted him, and his loved ones who didn't understand what was happening. He looked down, and just before he drew his last breath, he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. He was hanging on this cross, and yet he could find forgiveness in his heart for all of these people. And the reason that Jesus could forgive at this time in his life was that he knew that if he went to his death with unforgiveness in his soul, he would not rest. He knew that unforgiveness creates a separation between him and his Father. And all of his life he thought of God as his daddy. Abba, he called him. He was so close to God that he could call him Abba. And so he knew that forgiveness was something that he had to do, regardless of what had been done to him. And this is the thing about forgiveness and unforgiveness. If we hold a grudge against someone, no matter how much they may have hurt us, no matter what evil they may have done to us, if we hold that grudge to them, against them, all of our lives, or even a tiny moment of our lives, we are separating ourselves from God. This is the importance of forgiveness. I know how much we like to hold on to a grudge, especially if we feel like we have really been hurt deeply. Something happened to me just the other day, and it hurt deeply. And I wanted so much to nurse that hurt all day long, and I wanted to flare out at that person for hurting me. But in the end, I thought, do I want that more than I want to feel good? Do I want that more than I want to have a high vibration today? Because this is what unforgiveness does for us. It separates us from our source, and it sends us into a vibration of hopelessness, of despair, of unhappiness. We separate ourselves from love. And so we need to learn to forgive. Even at times when we think we can't, even at times when we have been hurt so badly. I doubt that any of us have ever been hurt as badly as Jesus was, but sometimes it feels like it. This is the reason we need to forgive. Have you ever had something that you've been holding unforgiveness about, something or other, or towards somebody? Have you noticed how you feel in your body? It constricts us. Unforgiveness constricts our hearts. But when we forgive, it opens our heart wide. And when our hearts are open wide, there is room for love and more love. And it's love that it's all about, folks. We're here only for one thing, and that's love. We're here to know the love of God and how great that love is. Can you imagine a God who didn't have so much love that it could create a day like today, this glorious day? Can you imagine a heart that wasn't so full of love that it could create a child? We're here to love. That's the only reason. Everything else is superfluous. Everything else is, like they say, icing on the cake. We're only here for love. And when we hold forgiveness against something, we can't love. You cannot love and hold unforgiveness about something at the same time. It's just not possible. So if there is something in your heart that you're saying, I heard someone say just the other day, I'll never forgive that person for what he did. And all I could think of is, oh, what you're doing to yourself. What you're doing to yourself. And as a result, what you're doing to the world. Because when one of us is unforgiving, it affects the rest of us. Because it's a vibration. And that vibration goes out to affect everybody in your circle. Everybody who comes in contact with you feels that vibration. They may not know what it is, but they feel it. So I invite you today to start thinking about this, to start thinking about something that you're holding unforgiveness for. And to see if you can just let go of it. Maybe just a little bit. But when you let go just a little bit, before you know it, you're opening up wider and wider and wider. And soon, your heart is wide open. And you have room in your heart then for love. Unforgiveness harbors negativity. And that in itself, again, creates a vibration. And you are negative every time you think of something or somebody that you're criticizing. You're complaining. Whatever it is that's holding you down in that negativity is keeping you from knowing the love, keeping you from being that Christ person that you were born to be. So I invite you to think about this and to try it out. Just try it out. If you find yourself one day criticizing something, it may be just something simple like a meal that's been cooked. But if you find yourself criticizing and just notice how you feel in your body, and then decide, I want to feel like this. And then you think of something that you can forgive. And notice how your body feels. When you're feeling positive, your body feels open and at ease. And you're feeling good. And what I want you to know is that when you are in that high vibration of love that forgiveness brings, then you are in alignment with God. And this is the true success. Only alignment with God is true success. We may have millions of dollars in the bank. We may have a grand house on the hill overlooking the most beautiful view in the world. We may have hundreds of friends who love us. We may have doting children and grandchildren. But if we are not in alignment with our source, we are not successful. And the beauty of it is that when you are in alignment with Source, with God, everything else comes to you. Because you cannot have a lasting happiness. You cannot have a lasting fortune, good fortune. You cannot have anything that lasts if you are out of alignment with your Source. I guarantee it. And since this is an evidence-based faith that we live, and by that I mean that we get to prove whatever it is that we're talking about in the laboratory of our lives, you can try it out. You can pinpoint something that you're wanting to have in your life. Or you can pinpoint something, some person that you are holding unforgiveness for. And you can try it and see. You can say, oh, okay, let's see, maybe if I try forgiveness just a tiny bit, and you can see what it does for your life. One thing I want you to remember is, forgiving someone or something does not mean you're okay the action that person may have done. It doesn't mean that what they did was good. It means that you're not harboring unforgiveness against them. It means that you understand that we're all human, that we all make mistakes. And we make mistakes in ignorance most of the time. And what forgiveness means is that you are holding that person in love. And you're praying for them. And you're giving your forgiveness. And not just for other people. So many of us hold unforgiveness against ourselves. There's something that we've done that we think, oh, I just can't forgive myself for this. But if you don't, if you can't learn to forgive yourself, you're never going to be able to forgive other people, and you're always going to be out of alignment with God. And you're always going to be floundering around in a negative vibration and wondering what on earth is going on in your life. So I invite you to just to think about this and to let go of any anger, let go of any malice you have towards someone. Let go of anything. Let go of anything that's keeping you from alignment with God, because nothing is worth being out of alignment with God. So I invite you this week as we're celebrating, today as we're celebrating, and all next week as we're doing whatever we do during the week, I invite you to think about this, and I invite you to practice just letting go of anything, any person that you may be harboring unforgiveness toward. And I invite you to let go of anything. Search your hearts and think about anything that's holding you out of alignment with God. And I invite you to just practice getting back into alignment. And how do you do that? You practice feeling good. You just think of something that makes you feel good. I saw a robin the other day. He came visiting, wanting water. And just seeing the robins reminds me to feel good. Their song makes me feel good. Anything that makes you feel good, think of it and bring yourself back into alignment with Spirit. I invite you to do that this week.